today's youth, what one group on campus is doing to help combat these issues and reverse the trend. And it's the most wonderful time of the year. Again, what you can expect from this year's Light Up Night this Friday. All that and more. Point News starts now.
Live from the Point Park University Broadcast Center in downtown Pittsburgh, this is Point News.
Good afternoon and welcome to Point News. I'm Kimberly Keggy. And breaking news this hour as crews continue to battle the 4-alarm fire at Winghart's Restaurant in Market Square downtown. According to Allegheny County, neighboring buildings have been evacuated, and a Pittsburgh public safety spokesperson says one firefighter is being treated for heat exhaustion. Point Park students were alerted to avoid the area via Point Alert. And my co-anchor Monet Finley is at the Weather Wall giving us an update on what to expect as we begin our holiday festivities. Monet?
Thanks, Kimmy, and welcome to our weekend weather. We'll see what to expect this weekend. So on Friday, there will be showers in the morning and partly cloudy in the evening. It's going to be a high of 47 degrees, a low of 26 degrees, and a 40% chance of precipitation. Then on Saturday, you can expect it to be partly cloudy in the morning with short periods of break in the evening, a high of 45 degrees and a low of 33 degrees with a 70% chance of precipitation. Then on Sunday, you can expect a mixture of both rain and snow with a 20% chance of precipitation, a 41 degrees high, and a low of 32 degrees. So just remember to stay warm and bring your umbrellas. Back to you, Kimmy.
And it's day 5 of the public hearings in the House impeachment inquiry of President Trump. Fiona Hill, a former top Russia expert for the White House, began testifying at 9 a.m. this morning. David Holmes, a senior diplomat at the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine, is due for testimony later today. Following Hill's testimony, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said that, quote, evidence is clear that Trump's undermined national security, end quote. Meanwhile, President Trump hosted a lunch at the White House today with Republican senators who declined to condemn the impeachment inquiry. And last night, a mistrial was declared in the trial of Allegheny County Controller Chelsea Wagner. Wagner was facing 2 charges, one a misdemeanor charge of disturbing the peace, the other a felony charge of resisting and obstructing police. After deliberation, the jury found Wagner not guilty of the misdemeanor charge, but was split in the felony charge, causing a mistrial. The judge set for the date of December 20th for a pre-trial conference in which the prosecution will state if they intend to retry the case.
2020 marks the centennial of the United States signing of the 19th Amendment, allowing women to vote. The Factory, Campus Cursive, and Her Campus collaborated to do the feminist art gathering. At this event, Point Park students were given the opportunity to not only learn about feminist poetry, but to also interact with it via art projects, writing, and media. They hope the event will generate a voice for those on campus who desire to make a change through art in the same way.
Just like the CHOP TV show.
And so the significance of this event is basically empowering the females in our community, but the community in general, to know the history of feminism, why it's important for us as females, and how we can still use feminist art to move forward in our society.
Country protested, picketed, and were imprisoned to secure their constitutional right to vote in an effort to create a more equal and just society. The purpose of the event was to empower the school community as much as it has women. When women are fighting breast cancer, the last thing they should be worried about is what they will look like during the fight. One organization is helping women feel more comfortable in an interesting way. Sarah Gibson has the story.
For women who've had mastectomies due to breast cancer, one part of the recovery process may involve sitting down with a doctor and talking about prosthetics to replace the breast or breasts that they lost. There's many options for these women. There's silicone prosthetics, mastectomy bras, and for some women, there are knitted knockers, the knitted breast prosthetic that provides a lightweight and affordable option for these women. Knitted knockers come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, and every single one of them is homemade.
The product knitted knockers have their own satellite center within many cities, and we're fortunate to have one in Pittsburgh. We let her know when we're low in a certain size or color. Stores in town that would provide the supplies for free. If they don't, then as far as I'm aware, McGee has funded some of their projects. They provide some funding to afford the supplies that then gets distributed to mostly the breast surgical clinics and the plastic surgical clinics who mostly deal with the aftermath of a part, if not a whole breast missing and needing something to fill the bra. They are less hot and sweaty compared with the more medically traditional silicone prostheses. You can wash them and clean them, and what most women appreciate is that they're made with love by other persons for the patient. They come in different colors that can be requested, different sizes. And the nice thing about these particular items is that they are for free. The silicone prostheses, they tend to be limited by your insurance, how many you get per year, which is not always enough for each individual. And so it's not for everybody, but many of my patients enjoy this.
The website provides resources and instructions for every step of the Knitted Knockers process, from finding a hospital to team up with to starting a Knitted Knockers branch to how to make one, either by knitting or crocheting. Dr. Van Lunden says she gets her supply from Pittsburgh's very own league of Knitted Knocker knitters.
Some of my patients who have received it, they almost treat it like a treasure, like a gift. It's warm, it's soft, it is obviously made by human beings. I wouldn't go as far as a stuffed animal or a lovey, but they treat it almost like it's something special. It takes a village to get this done, but it's done with love.
Other perks that Dr. Van Lunden attributes to the knockers are the ability to be washed after they're worn and the personalization of the packaging. Each set of knitted knockers comes individually wrapped with a note inside for the future wearer. From the Hillman Cancer Center, I'm Sarah Gibson with Point News.
A microwave, a toaster oven, and a blender were the only tools given to the contestants of Pioneer's Pantry's Chopped competition. Each 4-member team was provided with ingredients that could be found in any food pantry and had 20 minutes to create a dish that could impress the panel of judges. The 3rd annual Chopped competition was held on November 19th in the Lawrence Hall Ballroom. The event was planned by Alexis Lavick, public relation and planning student, and her team in order to raise awareness for the Pioneer Pantry.
The rates of childhood depression. Chopped is just like the Chopped TV show. It raises awareness for our Pioneer Pantry, which helps students who don't have enough food at home, that they have somewhere to go in case just so they have that little help. And it's important to raise that awareness.
The Pantry is a no-cost supplemental food program provided by the university. The Pantry's mission is to fight back against food insecurity. Students can place orders at pioneerpantry.org and will receive a text when the order is ready.
And it's a beautiful day in the movie theater. The new Mr. Rogers movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, opens in theaters tonight. The movie star Tom Hanks is the legendary children's show host and tells the story of a journalist whose life is changed when writes a profile about Fred Rogers. The movie was shot in and around Pittsburgh last year.
With the levels of diagnosed anxiety and depression on the rise in youth, peer mentoring has proven to help students cope with their feelings. Hannah Walden has the story.
As the rates of childhood depression and anxiety rise, the need for child mentors rise as well. Mentoring does more than help a child into college or encourage them to volunteer regularly. Mentoring helps lower childhood depression and anxiety. According to the CDC in 2018, mental disorders among children are described as serious changes in the way children typically learn, behave, or handle their emotions, causing distress and problems getting through the day. Behavior problems, anxiety, and depression are the most commonly diagnosed mental disorders in children, with 7% of children aged between 3 and 17 years old, approximately 4.5 million, have diagnosed anxiety, and 3% of children aged 3 to 17, approximately 2 million, have diagnosed depression.
At my site last semester, I had a girl who had a lot of issues with bullying in her school, and she would come in and we do this thing called Roses and Thorns. So every week they would give you a high, like a good thing that happened in their week and a bad thing that would happen in their week. And a lot of the time she would come in and be like, I got into a fight with so-and-so, or so-and-so beat me up.
Like the saying, every rose has its thorn, at Strong Women, Strong Girls, mentors teach their mentees that every day and every person they meet has positives and negatives, and they shouldn't solely focus on the thorns of life. A key finding from a Canadian study by the Centre of Addiction and Mental Health in 2013 shows that boys and the big brothers, big sisters that have a big brother are 3 times less likely than boys without a mentor to suffer peer pressure-related anxiety, such as worrying about what other children think or say about them.
Yeah, so there's been some research conducted on how mentoring supports children who are experiencing mental health issues or different challenges. And what the research shows is that having those strong supports through a mentorship capacity can provide positive outcomes for children.
When I first met her, she was sort of closed off. She wasn't the happiest person around. By the end of last semester, she was so happy. She was so outgoing. And then I came back this semester, and the first thing she and a couple of the other girls did was run up and hug me and tell me how much they missed me and how much they loved having me there.
Mentoring has been identified as a structured and trusting relationship that brings young people together with caring individuals who offer guidance, support, and encouragement aimed at developing the competence and character of the mentee, as found by a study by the Canadian Institutes of Health Research.
People who have depression and anxiety feel secluded and they don't feel very open to people. They feel like they can't open up to people because they're embarrassed. But we showed the girls it's okay to be who you are, whoever you are accepted. That everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, which is roses and thorns. Buttons, even though she's a dog, she has really helped me come out of my shell by being who she is. And even though it's her being scared of people, she's teaching me that that not all people are scary. That sometimes I need to help her, and that gets me away from me worrying about others.
There's been research to support, there's a study back in 2011 that focused explicitly on all of the different types of mentorship programs that are out there for children and youth. And again, what they showed is when these programs are evidence-based, when they focus on building relationships, and when they are focused on sort of trauma-informed supports, so sort of meeting children where they're at and what their needs are. When they have those three components, they show really strong positive outcomes for children.
I definitely feel like the girls have a lot greater self-esteem. They open up more to other people. They work well a lot better with one another. And just they have this sense of community.
According to the National Mentoring Resource Center, with time and help from a mentor, children struggling with mental health challenges are more likely to create supportive and positive relationships with caring adults when they are in need.
And a dramatic week for the black and gold.
A fight on the field, a key player suspended, who the team will face next, and why it will really be next week's game that fans will be looking out for.
Go to our new website, uvu.pointpark.edu.
Go, 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 go.
Join UView and find your herd.
Join EOP. And 3, 2.
Join EOP.
I was just saying, grab them now, or else I will snap them.
Yeah.
Join on point with politics. 3, 2, 1.
Join Pioneer Sideline.
Loneliest number that you'll ever do.
And welcome back. The Steelers are gearing up to take on the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday.
But the big matchup fans are waiting for what comes next week when the black and gold face the Cleveland Browns. The start time for the December 1st game has been changed to 1 p.m. This comes on the heels of the Thursday Night Football melee last week, in which the Browns' Myles Garrett ripped Steelers' QB Mason Rudolph's helmet from his head and hit him with it. Garrett is suspended indefinitely. Also suspended is Steelers center Marquise Pouncey, who came to Rudolph's defense. Excuse me. He's out for 3 games but had a hearing Tuesday on his appeal of that suspension.
And suspended Pirates pitcher Felipe Vazquez is facing new charges this afternoon. Vazquez was already being held behind bars accused of having improper sexual contact with a teenage girl in Westmoreland County. On Tuesday, nearly 24 new counts were filed against Vazquez, including child pornography charges. He was also denied extradition to Florida, where he's accused of committing other crimes against the same accuser.
Speaking of the Pirates, ex-Boston Red Sox executive Ben Cherington was recently named as the new general manager of the Pirates, replacing longtime GM Neil Huntington. In the 4 decades since the Pirates' last World Series win in 1979, they have only recorded 11 winning seasons. Cherington is hoping to change the tide of the Pirates' fortune and make the team quote competitive on a regular basis. Cherington reported for his first day with the Buckeyes earlier this week.
And the Point Park volleyball team failed to break their 4-year-long quarterfinals curse this past weekend when they lost in the first round of the River States Conference playoffs to Asbury University. The Pioneers came out of the regular season on top as the East Division champs, making them the host of this year's tournament. After Point Park got knocked out of the tournament, it came down to IU Kokomo and West Virginia Tech in the championship. IU Kokomo came out on top and punched their ticket to the national tournament starting next week.
After the break, what to expect for this year's Comcast Light Up Nights.
And what other fun holiday celebrations are taking place in the area. We'll be right back.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family. Openness.
Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
2-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
And to kick off the festivity of the Christmas holiday season, on Friday, November 22nd, the 59th annual Comcast Light Up Night in downtown Pittsburgh will start at approximately 12 p.m. at the U.S. Steel Tower. There will be live music featuring Adam Lambert, who will be headlining this year. Lambert rising to national attention on American Idol and recently touring with rock supergroup Queen. Fireworks will begin at 7 p.m. at Fifth Avenue Place, and the grand finale will take place at 9:30 p.m. at B&Y Mellon. Please be aware of the road closures, which will start from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Some of the roads expected to be closed are Penn Avenue between 6th and Stanwood Street, Fort Duquesne Boulevard, and Market Square.
And you can hit the slopes for the first time this season as Seven Springs opens this weekend. Cruise down the slopes or get your first turns in from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Midweek pass holders are welcome to join in on the fun. Skiers and snowboarders can always check the snow report for the update on the latest information on the day's conditions.
And just in time for the Light Up Night, the People's Gas Holiday Market opens up Friday. The market offers holiday items for sale and live performances from local talent. You can also get a picture with Santa with suggested donation to the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. The holiday market runs through December 23rd.
That's all for this week. Thanks for watching, Pioneers.
Point News will be back next Thursday at 2 p.m. Have a great week, Pioneers.